Most people chase money. They work endlessly. Yet they stay trapped in debt. Today, you will learn the exact blueprint billionaires use to build real wealth. The rich do not rely on a simple salary. They own assets. They control systems. This video exposes 7 hidden secrets that change your financial future. Pay close attention until the very end. The final secret will completely transform how you view investments. Let us begin this journey toward ultimate financial security. Meet Ethan. He did everything right. He went to college. He got a corporate job. Yet, his bank account always remained flat. He felt stuck. Ethan believed hard work equaled wealth. Every month, his paycheck vanished into rent, bills, and taxes. He wondered why the system felt rigged against him. One evening, Ethan looked at his savings. The numbers were discouraging. He realized that saving money in a bank was slowly making him poorer. Inflation won. This brings us to secret number 1. Billionaires do not hoard cash. They buy cash-flowing assets. Cash is trash when it sits completely idle. Let us look at the cold math. If Ethan saves $10,000 today, inflation reduces its purchasing power every year. The math never lies. Billionaires understand this threat perfectly. They immediately convert their currency into equities, real estate, or private businesses. They make their money work for them. Ethan decided to change his strategy. He stopped putting everything into basic savings accounts. But then, he encountered a brand new financial obstacle. Taxes. Secret number 2 is mastering the tax code. High earners pay heavy income taxes. Billionaires, however, earn their wealth through capital gains and structures. Consider the numbers. Income tax can take up to 40% of your salary. Capital gains are taxed much lower. The difference is staggering. Ethan studied how corporations operate. He learned that the wealthy use legal entities to deduct expenses before they ever pay a single cent in taxes. This shifted Ethan's perspective entirely. He realized he needed to build a business infrastructure. But how could he scale without millions of dollars? That leads us to secret number 3. Debt is a powerful tool when used correctly. The poor use debt to buy liabilities. Billionaires use debt. Bad debt consumes your cash flow. Good debt expands your asset base. Ethan learned to leverage low-interest loans to purchase property that generated monthly revenue. The math behind leverage is incredible. By putting down 20%, you control 100% of an asset. The tenants pay down your loan. Ethan was making progress. His assets were growing steadily. However, he noticed another trap that drains the wealth of many successful individuals. Lifestyle creep. Secret number 4 involves absolute emotional discipline. Billionaires often live far below their means during their accumulation phase. They delay gratification to buy freedom. Ethan maintained his modest lifestyle despite his rising income. Every extra dollar went directly back into compounding systems. He was finally breaking the chains. This brings us to secret number 5. Billionaires focus entirely on asymmetric risk. They look for investments where the downside is tiny, but the upside is massive. Average investors risk everything for small returns. Ethan changed his mindset completely. He stopped gambling on volatile, unpredictable hype. He calculated his exact risk metrics instead. Let us break down the math of asymmetry. If you risk $1 to make 10, you only need to be right 11% of the time. Ethan applied this rule to his new business ventures. He invested small amounts of capital to test concepts. When a concept succeeded, he scaled it aggressively. As Ethan's business expanded, he faced a massive time constraint. He was working 14 hours every single day. He reached a hard ceiling on his earnings. Secret number 6 is leveraging other people's time. Billionaires do not trade hours for dollars. They buy other people's expertise to build giant networks of productivity. If you work alone, you have 24 hours. If you hire 10 brilliant minds, you instantly control 80 hours of high-value output every single day. Ethan hired managers to run his daily operations. This freed his mind to focus strictly on macro decisions. His business began to compound at an extraordinary rate. This brings us to secret number 7. Billionaires protect their wealth through generational structures. They use trusts and foundations to eliminate future probate and estate taxes. Ethan realized that making money is only half the battle. Keeping it across generations requires absolute structural legal planning. He established his own asset protection trust. Without a trust, the government can seize a massive portion of your estate when you pass away. Ethan secured his legacy, ensuring his future family remained wealthy. Now, Ethan possessed all 7 secrets. He transitioned from a struggling employee into a powerful wealth builder. But a sudden economic recession tested his entire system. The stock market crashed heavily. Real estate prices plummeted across the country. Ethan's friends panicked, selling off their investments at massive losses. Ethan remained perfectly calm. Why was Ethan so calm? Because billionaires view recessions as giant discount sales. While others flee the market, the wealthy deploy massive reserves of capital. He used his cash flow from previous investments to buy distressed assets. He purchased premium real estate for pennies on the dollar. His net worth prepared to explode. Let us review the fundamental math behind buying market dips. When an asset drops 30%, its recovery yields a 42% gain. Math always prevails. When the market finally stabilized, Ethan's wealth had multiplied by 5. He no longer worried about losing a job. He controlled his time completely. Many people ask if this strategy works for ordinary citizens. The answer is an absolute yes. It requires patience, deep discipline, and a total shift in focus. You do not need millions to start. You simply need to change how you distribute your very next paycheck. Small habits compound into absolute freedom over time. But Ethan's journey was far from over. He soon realized that handling massive wealth required an entirely new psychological framework. He had to face his deepest greed. Greed destroys more fortunes than market crashes. Ethan saw wealthy peers leverage too heavily during good times. They forgot that markets move in cycles. They lost everything. True billionaires build safety nets. Ethan maintained a deep reserve of liquid capital. This cash buffer protected his assets when the unexpected economic winter arrived suddenly. Let us calculate the safety margin formula. A billionaire keeps at least 12 months of operational overhead liquid. This prevents forced liquidations during harsh market corrections. With his foundation secure, Ethan focused on exponential growth networks. He realized that wealth is not just about capital. It is about access to exclusive information pools. High-level masterminds became his new boardroom. He surrounded himself with individuals who thought in billions, not millions. His scope of reality expanded beyond ordinary limits. He discovered another hidden reality. Billionaires do not sell their appreciating assets to get cash. Selling triggers taxes. Instead, they borrow against their massive holdings. By taking a loan against his portfolio, Ethan secured tax-free liquidity. The interest rate was incredibly low. His assets continued to grow unchecked by capital gains. The math here is incredibly profound. Asset growth at 8% minus loan interest at 3% leaves a net positive return of 5% tax-free. This strategy is the ultimate wealth cheat code. The middle class sells assets to buy luxury. The ultra-rich use asset-backed leverage to fund their lifestyles. Ethan applied this exact method to acquire more cash-flowing businesses. He bought companies without using a single dollar of his own hard-earned personal income. He looked for businesses with strong infrastructure but weak modern marketing. By optimizing their online presence, he instantly doubled their revenue within 6 short months. The compounding effect was now unstoppable. Ethan's empire grew larger every day. Yet, he noticed a subtle danger emerging from within his expanding organization. Complacency. Billionaires operate with healthy paranoia. They know success breeds vulnerability. Ethan restructured his core systems to ensure constant innovation and strict risk management protocols. He systematically audited every expense. He cut out operational waste. This maximized his profit margins, allowing more capital to flow into his primary investment vehicles. Let us evaluate the mathematics of efficiency. Reducing operational expenses by just 10% can increase net bottom line valuation by up to 50%. Ethan's net worth was reaching elite heights. He had successfully broken free from the standard corporate rat race. He owned his time completely and absolutely. But he remembered where he started. He remembered the stress of living paycheck to paycheck. He felt a deep responsibility to share these secrets broadly. The path to billionaire wealth is not closed to you. It begins with a single mental shift. Stop working for money. Start building asset systems. Look around you. Every building, every software, every brand is an asset owned by someone. Your goal is to become an owner, not a consumer. As we enter the next phase of this blueprint, prepare your mind. We will uncover how the wealthy manipulate macroeconomic trends to secure generational dominance. Macroeconomic trends control the global flow of money. Ethan studied these giant waves. He tracked interest rates, government printing, and global supply chain shifts very closely. When the central bank prints massive amounts of currency, the value of cash drops. Billionaires know this leads directly to asset inflation. They position themselves early. Ethan bought scarce assets right before the currency expanded. The nominal value of his properties skyrocketed. He preserved his true purchasing power while others lost theirs. Let us look at the mathematical correlation. As the money supply M2 increases, hard asset values scale at a nearly identical rate. Cash savings dwindle. This understanding completely separates the rich from the poor. The poor work for paper currency. The rich work strictly for ownership of finite, valuable resources. Ethan decided to expand his portfolio into digital infrastructure next. He acquired high-traffic websites and automated software platforms. These systems operated with zero physical inventory costs. Digital leverage is incredibly powerful. A single software product can scale to millions of global users instantly. The profit margin often exceeds 90% completely. Ethan's digital cash flow funded his real estate acquisitions automatically. He created a perfect, closed-loop financial machine. Money flowed in from every direction constantly. The mathematical velocity of his wealth was now exponential. His net worth formula was no longer linear. It followed a steep, compounding power law curve. But with massive scale came massive regulatory compliance hurdles. Governments began changing corporate laws. Ethan needed to adapt his legal framework to protect his assets. He hired top international attorneys. They restructured his holdings across multiple global jurisdictions. This legal diversification made his wealth completely immune to single-country risks. Most people think international structuring is illegal. It is completely legal when done transparently. It is the exact strategy Fortune 500 companies use daily. Ethan now operated at the absolute pinnacle of financial efficiency. His systems were secure. His tax liability was legally minimized. His cash flow was entirely automated. He looked down at the bustling city below. He realized that financial freedom is not about buying expensive luxury items. It is entirely about complete autonomy. Autonomy means waking up every single day knowing your time belongs entirely to you. No bosses. No urgent client demands. No forced schedules. Just freedom. Do you want this level of freedom? The journey requires you to unlearn everything the traditional school system taught you about money. The system train employees. Schools teach you to save. They teach you to avoid all risks. They prepare you to be a small cog in a giant corporate machine. Billionaires think completely opposite. They embrace calculated risks. They understand that safety is an absolute illusion designed to keep you trading your limited time. Look at the mathematical lifetime earning potential of a standard salary. It is strictly capped by your physical hours. The ceiling is absolute and unbreakable. To break the ceiling, you must transition into scalable networks. You must let go of your reliance on a single paycheck. It feels terrifying initially. Ethan felt that exact terror when he started. But he pushed forward anyway. He realized that discomfort is simply the price of admission for true freedom. Look at your current weekly expenses. How much capital vanishes into depreciating consumer goods? Every single dollar spent on luxury today steals your future autonomy. Redirect that capital into assets instead. Buy fraction of shares. Invest in minor digital real estate. Do something small today to signal your commitment to wealth. Let us review the compounding formula for consistency. Even $50 invested weekly at a standard 10% return compounds into massive amounts over time. The math is absolute truth. The system cannot stop a person who consistently reinvests their capital. Consistency breaks every single economic barrier the world presents. Ethan's blueprint is now completely laid bare before you. You know the secrets. You understand asset leverage, tax mastery, and asymmetric risk profiles perfectly. Knowledge without absolute execution is completely useless. Most people watch these videos and change nothing tomorrow. They return directly back to their comfort zones instantly. Do not let that be your story. Break the traditional loop today. Choose to think like a system owner rather than an ordinary consumer of goods. Your financial future is entirely in your hands. The wealth rules have been exposed. Now you must make a definitive choice regarding your next step. Look closely at where you want to stand in 5 years. Will you be building your own asset empire, or funding someone else's permanent dream? What is your definitive move? Option 1, keep saving cash. Or option 2, start acquiring systems. Tell me your answer in the comments below right now. Type your choice. Let us build a dedicated community of strategic action takers. Subscribe to secure your permanent roadmap toward absolute economic dominance and freedom. Your commitment starts in the comments section. By typing your answer, you declare your intent to break away from standard middle-class financial traps forever. Share this critical roadmap with someone who desperately needs to hear this truth. Help them escape the exhausting salary trap that binds millions of families. We track our collective progress together. Now let us absorb the ultimate philosophical lesson of wealth accumulation. This final concept seals your foundation completely. Wealth is not about buying massive mansions. It is not about showing off flash items to strangers. True wealth is entirely about hidden safety and serenity. It is the complete absence of financial anxiety when you sleep. It is knowing your family is structurally protected against any sudden global crisis or collapse. True billionaires value their absolute privacy over empty fame. They protect their peace fiercely while their automated networks generate endless resources in the deep background. Ethan achieved this complete state of absolute freedom. He built his legacy systematically. The secrets are now officially yours to wield for the rest of your life. Go forth and build your system. The numbers are clear. The path is set. Control your assets. Control your time. I will see you at the absolute top.